Eastern University in Boston, Massachusetts. She heads the Computational Modeling for Biointerface and Engineering Lab, the Combine Lab. She is also the Director of the Science in Braille Global Campaign. Dr. Minkara will discuss the advantages of including blind or partially blind individuals in science. Furthermore, as the Director of Science in Braille, Dr. Minkara will elaborate on the goals of the global campaign and her aspirations. You have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Well, good afternoon. And I want to first thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you, Rasa, for this amazing opportunity and for your Royal Highness. And I'm just really grateful. So I want to begin first by addressing the point of what is the advantage of having us as blind individuals be scientists. And this is a really interesting point because for my personal story, it wasn't always clear. I was born in Maryland. I did grow up in Massachusetts, so not that far from the Perkins School for the Blind. But it wasn't, and I had actually deep internalized ableism. I'm going to share with you my story. I was diagnosed when I was 7 years old with macular degeneration and cone rod dystrophy. There was a doctor who point blank told my parents, my mom, that it wasn't worth spending a penny on my education. Okay? Now, I grew up thinking I needed to overcome my blindness. I grew up thinking that it was an obstacle. And it wasn't until I was looking to get a job after finishing my PhD, okay? And I was applying everywhere. Like, I think I applied to 70 different places. No joke. But I got an email from a professor at the University of Minnesota in the Chemical Theory Center. Professor J. Ilyas Seatman, who says, I have seen your work. I want you to work in my lab. Point blank gave me a job offer over email. I was like, okay, let me meet with you. And then a really weird reverse interview situation happened, right? Why do you want me in your lab? Well, you know I'm blind. You know I'm slow. This is the internalized ableism that I had. And he said something really poignant that sticks with me to today. He said, yes, because you're blind, you are going to solve problems that nobody else has solved. That is what I want on my team. And I was like, oh man, I gotta move to Minnesota. So I packed my bags at the time I was in Florida and I moved to Minnesota. But he brought something else to my attention. He's like, don't you look at your work? And he brought up a paper that I had published. And it was about a protein that I was studying and the way that we do it. So I am a computational chemist by training. Usually people in my field, they get this protein, they model it, it jiggles and wiggles, okay? Official terms. And everybody watches a movie. I can't see that, right? I cannot see the protein moving. So I had to sit down and come up with my own technique, which was to model the movement of the protein mathematically. And guess what? I, the blind person, was able to determine patterns that nobody else had. My sighted peers missed because I had to look at the data differently. And that, my friends, and that is what I call the unseen advantage. This is what the world needs. You're talking about finding solutions that we need scientists. We need scientists of all walks of life. We need blind scientists. We need people from different perspectives to find the solutions that haven't been solved yet. So that is why we need blind individuals in every arena. And today we're talking about science. I'm a scientist. This is my love. I've been a scientist since I was a kid and watched PBS. The next point that you brought up is I want to talk about the global campaign, the Science in Braille Global Campaign. I am honored to be the director. I am honored that we are going to go forth. The mission and vision is that we, as blind individuals, we are not just bumbling around. We're actually experts in our field. And then we want the world to take our advice in that and to show that we are not just benefactors, but agents. And we want to make science accessible to all and science education accessible. And this is what was amazing from today's workshop. We got to experience a phenomenal kit. And I hope one day you all get to experience it, blind or sighted or anything else in between. And so our mission, we have 4 pillars that we lead with Science in Braille. We are leaders in our experts in our field. We have different types of science in our team, which is amazing. We hope to educate and work on making science accessible. We hope to create a community in which you network with us, but we connect with all sorts of advocacy groups and different groups that want to work towards this mission. And finally, we want to be a place that you can go. So you can go to scienceinbraille.org, and we will have a repository that we're working on of all sorts of resources to make science accessible. And with that, thank you very much.